fighting in the trenches. Kind of interesting. It's entirely impossible to put together a coalition that includes everybody, given the geopolitics of the region. But there's no question U.S. relations with Saudi Arabia before this ISIS emergence were massively strained. Now the Saudis are back in the saddle, and the fact that the United States has gotten these countries to be directly complicit, not just with providing, sort of base and ground support, but actually engaging in bombing campaigns along with the United States, makes it much more sustainable for the United States to have this kind of policy in the region for quite some time.
I know you studied the Crusades. I think of Yemen, where overnight we saw Shia and Sunni battles to take control of a very troubled nation. Is the United States fighting a religious war at this point? No. The United States is fighting against a terrorist organization, and I think they're going to do their damnedest not to expand it. But there's no question that the war against ISIS is more sectarian than the U.S. would like it to be. You're not going to win from the air. The war on the ground will be sectarian. Look, the fact is that Obama's launched 2 wars in the Middle East since he's taken his presidency, one against Gaddafi in Libya and one against ISIS. Those are the 2 folks you could focus on in the Middle East that have absolutely no allies, where both the Iranians and the Saudis actually agree on something. They agree on nothing else, by the way, and I have to say one of the big geopolitical takeaways from this crisis is that it's becoming less likely by the hour that an Iran-U.S. nuclear deal is going to be able to come together. The tack of the United States towards the Saudis and the more traditional allies making it much harder that by November 24th you get that deal done. And Adam, the Council on Foreign Relations fronting their website this morning on Iran. I mean, they do the same thing as Dr. Brummer does. They
Ian,
Iran front and center.
I'm stunned by what you just said about this making it harder for the U.S. and Iran to come together. When you think about it, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Turkey, United Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, they're all part of this coalition. Wouldn't that make it easier for Iran and the U.S. to come together?
No, and it's also in the same way that it's harder for the United States to come to a deal with Assad, right? I mean, the fact is that the Iranians just 2 days ago, you had Foreign Minister Zarif in New York basically saying, hey, I'll join you in the fight against ISIS, but you're going to have to give me a better deal on the nuclear front. Think of how that, first of all, it's inconceivable that the U.S. would do that. ISIS is more of a threat to Iran than it is to the United States. But think about how that plays back in Iran, because clearly they're going to get nothing from the U.S. What is Zarif going to do? What are the reformers going to do? Then come to the U.S., come back to their own people and say, well, we couldn't get it done, but we're going to cut a deal anyway. This is a diplomatic feint by the Iranians, who are expecting that they're going to come away empty-handed, that it's becoming much harder for them to negotiate their own domestic constituency. So, yeah, I think that the markets aren't paying attention to that right now.
Ian, I need to ask you our Twitter question of the day, because it will wrap up everything. What defines victory in Syria now that we've expanded beyond Iraq with these airstrikes into Syria?
What defines victory?
Yes, for us.
Well, I mean, yes, you can say the destruction of ISIS, but the wars on terror you're never able to actually win. I think the fact that the Obama administration has taken as long as they have, they've been very deliberate around this, very cautious, and they've also managed to build a real coalition. A lot of people scoffed at that, but the fact is, the harder it is to define victory, the more you want everybody around in it with you, so they can't complain when it doesn't go very well. That's kind of where we are right now. You have to fight ISIS. You know you're not going to win tomorrow. Might as well ensure that you can rebuff criticism.